Hello, this is Dale Matthews. I'm joined by Mike, and our target for tonight, the Schweinfurt Ball Bearings Works.
Well, I hope the Brits got the anti-aircraft out of commission overnight there because, we get the daytime mission. That's the
Yes, we
dangerous
do.
work.
Isn't that nice? Yes.
Yes.
And this is over my shoulder. This is Mike and I in the front of the bomber.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to bring you the Norden bomb site here in a moment, and we're going to talk about candidates that are coming up. Oh, that's a long time away, Dale. No, the primary is coming up in 6 months. Whose offices are open? This is a political show. This is what we talk about. Okay, so, well, speaking of politics, there's one little thing that I thought that you might find interesting, Mike. I was looking through the Daily Courier today. I try never to buy this thing. And you've probably noticed that there are a number of large ads that are playing in the Daily Courier. I don't want to give them all that money. But these large ads are trying to convince all of us in Grants Pass and the rest of the county where you will pay for this forever and ever and ever to become the only city in the entire state that charges a general sales tax. Okay? So part of the, and it's getting more and more shrill because I think that they can see they're spending all this money. I think they can see that the handwriting's on the wall. And this one starts off by saying that those of us who have said no new taxes are screaming, no new taxes, not no taxes, and running away, screaming. And then it goes on, however, before breaking out the pitchforks and marching against City Hall, we should take a deep breath, sounds like Keith Heck, look past the hype and knee-jerk panic already inundating the town and actually take a close look at the proposed sales tax. There's a lot of angry rhetoric being brought to boil around the city and throughout the county, but much of it is little more than hot air, seasoned with heavy doses of misinformation and ignorant fear, and seasoned to perfection with a hint of conspiracy theory.
Yes. Listen, in other words, if you're against the sales tax, you're a right-wing freak. You're a tinfoil hat person. You're
marching with pitchforks.
Yeah, you're generally a bad person. You're backward. Yeah, you're a backward person. You're not progressive. You're not looking toward the future. This is,
not progressive.
Come on, people.
All of those shop owners in town, Evangel Bookstore, with these say no to sales tax. Why, they're all ignorant people with pitchforks, and he said ignorant in the ad.
Yeah.
That's the opposition.
And I'm sorry if you mentioned the author of that. Who is the author of that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I sent it away. But it's some guy I've not heard of before. Yeah. But, who knows if it's a pseudonym. You're not required to give your actual name. It may be a guy with an actual name and an actual point of view, but it might as well be Roy Lindsay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the picture that I had in my mind as you were reading that. So, wouldn't it be interesting if it actually was Roy Lindsay that wrote that?
Yeah. They're going to lose this. Mike's not sure, but I think they're going to lose it big time. And now there's going to be a price to pay, and one of the people paying that price coming up
2%.
Coming up in 6 months is going to be the mayor.
Yeah.
Roy Lindsay won't pay anything because he's in office for a while. Dennis Roller, who just a couple of days ago I said to him, who's your constituency for this? Who are you talking to promoting a sales tax? And he acted
I'll tell you who they're pitching it to. They're pitching it to the city residents that vote for the levies every single time.
But they're
Listen,
not going to do it this time.
Okay, that's what you say, but you know what? I don't buy into that. This is a slam dunk like you do. I think they're actually making a pretty smart play. If you want to, lay it down like that, these people have shown their propensity to vote for taxes every single time, and they're giving them this false choice of getting off of paying some of the taxes. I wouldn't put it past the people of the downtown here to swallow this hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
and the rest of the county who rescues them from the property tax every single time can't vote in this.
This time, they're perpetual allies on every tax. The Grants Pass Chamber of Commerce is dead set against this.
Right.
So, well, we'll see.
And I have spoken to a lot of people who are normally for these levies who are against the sales tax too. And Vivian, the other night when she was on, was saying that really most of the people that they're speaking with are saying, no way, we're not interested.
Overwhelming. Okay, speaking of Vivian, we will be live. It doesn't mean we're going to be across the street. We haven't gotten final permission. Boy, the Republican Central Committee has some really strong. I hate the people who disagree with anything we say. What's the matter with you guys?
You know what?
Holding
if
the
they
bomber.
Don't give us. and listen, the rest of the crew should be really scared because neither Dale or I knows how to fly a B-29.
Well, not that size. No.
Yes. If we don't get permission to broadcast from the Republican headquarters, as we have done before, we will be live from in a van down by the river.
That's right. And we'll ask the homeless. Never mind. Okay, so yes. That's going to be on Tuesday, November the 3rd, and we'll be on at 8:00. Well, of course, because that's when it's going to be announced. The little thing I'm looking forward to at the beginning is, now that we're like 3 times more popular than we've ever been before, really that's no exaggeration, will Art Harvey walk right past us and the camera again? Because we're the first people to tell you everything.
I'm going to make that prediction right here, right now. I think that's a no-brainer. He's not going to talk to you about it, but I mean, he is going to hand out the thing there, and to
everybody but us.
Yeah, it'll be discussed right there. And listen, I think we can do the same thing live from right in front of the recorder's office, just like we did last time. And it should be cool. So tune in here for results.
Yeah, tune in here. We will have them. Well, some people say, give it a couple of weeks. I don't care. Others are like, what's going to happen? So we'll be the first ones to tell you. KJO will be right behind us. The guy's got to think of how to say it just right, and disappointed listeners to KJO, how to let them down easy or whatever.
Listen,
we just
everybody at that point really just wants to know what it is. They don't need a special presentation. Listen, they're going
to get one though.
Well, KJO worked on their presentation here, a couple of days ago, and reported the news incorrectly.
Yes, they did.
Which I don't know how you could have been in that meeting and not understood that there was some confusion there. And, thought to check up on what's really happening there. Whatever. I guess they think nobody cares.
Signed a $3,000 contract, despite what the paper says, despite what the contract says. I went down and looked at the contract today. They signed a $94,000 contract, $94,000 out of our pockets. She's telling them, don't worry about it. This is a heck of a deal. It's only $3,000. It was exactly $3,327. And okay, he signed it. Well, I'm happy to sign things. That's not what it's for. It's for $94,000.
Okay.
That's the contract that they signed, and it doesn't matter whether $3,000 is in 84 other documents or not. All it matters is which one did they sign. They signed the one for $94,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 50-50 match. That's what it said. Well, anyway, okay. So Mike believes that we need some kind of background noise. So Mike's going to supply the background noise while he puts up the Norden bomb sight for us all.
Yes.
Oh, real good. Is that
Hey,
is that an angry watchdog or a bomber?
yes. Yeah. Well, it's a droning engines on that aircraft.
We finally got
now. Had I had a little bit more time in advance, I could have got some noise, but then it would have just drown out us.
It reminds me of the ads that played for 2 levies ago, where they described all the people who questioned the usefulness of that levy as the noise that destroys. You see, we weren't even legitimate questioners; we were simply noise.
Mm.
So yeah, thanks for that noise that destroys there, Mike. So we're going to take a look, because this is a politics show. Of course we do this. We're going to take a look at whose positions are up for grabs in 6 months. Okay, so here's the first person. Cheryl Walker. Okay, Cheryl Walker has not yet said that she's going to run for her own position. We don't know yet. Well, no, it looks like Mike Jones is one of the candidates, but I don't think that he is. Okay.
No,
yes. Okay. So Cheryl Walker is going to, her position is going to be open. We don't know if she's going to be the person that that runs for that position. And you already know, if you've ever seen the show, what the pluses and minuses are. Oh, geez. I'm trying to steer it straight.
Yes, I know, but you're all over the place here.
Yes, I am. What we don't know yet, whether she's
just making
going to
room for myself.
Okay, yes.
It was kind of cramped.
Put me on there too.
Yeah, probably could.
Yeah, okay, we'll see. So anyway, yeah, Cheryl's position is open. Everybody and their brother is going to run for Cheryl's position, because they're absolutely sure, and they're probably correct, that they could do the job better.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the sneak preview says, what did they say about her, Mike?
She's the best.
The best ever. Right. She's just so popular. Yeah. So then the next person that's going to run is...
hang on just a second here.
Keith.
Yeah. Hang on.
Heck.
Right. There he is.
Right,
Hi, George.
Right. There he is. Keith Heck is listed. He listed himself to run for his own position. Something tells Keith Heck, or somebody or some people are telling Keith Heck, he's doing a great job. And we need you in that position, Keith Heck.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm happy about it, and I'll tell you why. Because you think this is a political analysis show also, so that's what we're going to do. This is terrific that Keith Heck is running. Imagine that you're somebody that really, really wants more taxes on just everything, and that definitely wants this sales tax, probably that too, but definitely wants a property tax and wants business as usual. This business as usual is just terrific.
Yes.
Okay.
There you are, Dale.
I got my bomber stuff on.
You wanted to be on there. That's right. Yes.
That's right. All right. Maybe you can make me a little smaller.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll work on it a little bit.
He makes me feel small. So so that's the kind of thing they want. They want more of the same. They love more of the same. Okay. And it's probably people like Rotary Club members and stuff. Probably. Actually, yeah, probably. And so, but what Keith is going to do is split the vote. You see, when you think about that, now, if Keith wasn't running, who would they vote for? Well, they'd find somebody like Mark Gatlin. It would be the perfect opportunity, because both Cheryl and Simon and Keith were backing Mark Gatlin instead of Simon Hare.
Mm-hmm.
I heard them several times talking about why he would be better. They also met illegally as a quorum. Yes, oh, what a surprise! With Mark Gatlin to talk about county business and the future of the county. Well, no, we didn't. Yes, you did. I saw you doing it. So you just can't say that you didn't. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little low down here, Mike. But that's okay. That's okay. So look. They would love to have Mark Gatlin as a third commissioner. They're not going to get that because Simon Hare is going to be in there for 2 more years. If fiscal conservatives get in, we need 2 of them. 2, it's not enough just to have 1. We need 2. And so if fiscal conservatives get in, not these guys, fiscal conservatives get in, then Simon Hare is going to be marginalized.
Mm-hmm.
So getting back to the point here, Keith Heck is going to be splitting the vote because who do you vote for? The guy that's already in office that backs all these bad ideas, in my opinion, or someone new that backs bad ideas. Why would you vote out the incumbent? He already has the position. He already knows how to sign documents that he hasn't read. So, I mean, based on yesterday's show, so why not leave the guy in there? So all that'll do is anyone who also decides to run for that position, and that's Tony Webb, is so far the only other person that's committed. If it's Mark Gatlin or if it's Roy Lindsay that decide that they're going to run for that position, then they'll be running against Keith.
Right.
And so now which candidate would you vote for? Well, Keith Heck has a record of doing this all the time. Why wouldn't you just go ahead and vote for Keith? Split the vote, Keith. This is a brilliant idea, bud.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think all bets are off in this next run here. You're going to have. I think people are looking for new blood. For the most part, anybody who's paying attention is, and that takes them off of Keith Heck. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But
the
so
next
far,
person is the
third
most important position of all the positions on all. Yeah.
Yes.
The clerk.
Art Harvey.
The current clerk. The reason that we can't be sure how the vote's going to turn out, in my opinion, because he has. Oh, I don't like it when you say that. Well, too bad, because we've caught you on tape lying to the public. And Mike knows a little bit about votes and vote counting. You want to tell us a little bit about that, Mike?
Well, I mean, the story of course, the one that I'm aware of in terms of that calls his honesty into question is that during Sandy's recall, there were petitions that were brought to them with no signatures on them. And
there were no verifying signatures from the signature gathering people that are required by law to be on the back.
I'm sorry. You're right. That's what I meant. And which of course would invalidate the entire sheet.
Yes.
And there was enough of those to
646 every single one of them.
Yeah, there was enough to disqualify, the whole thing. And yet, when they on the Cheryl Walker recall, they went through the signatures on them and were invalidating individual signatures on the petition based on the fact that they hadn't voted in 5 years or whatever like that. And they were finding a disproportionately high number of disqualifications compared to the previous recall, Sandy's recall situation. So
and the way that it actually worked out, I'm going to try to do this in this little window here. The way it actually worked out is up until that point, the number of the percentage that was not working out well. Oh, gee. Okay, the percentage that was not working out well was pretty much of a flat line. And then during the thing for Cheryl, it went way up like this, and then right after Cheryl's recall, it went back down to normal again.
Yes.
Hey, what happened during that time period?
Well, there was a change in whether or not you wanted the particular person being recalled, and that
Sure
was
looks like it.
that's the well. I mean, it brings that into question.
Well, when Sandy went in to talk to, confront, I think is the right word, Art Harvey about this thing about 646 pieces of paper, he did not deny that it was incorrect. He said, well, why don't you just go ahead and appeal it to the state? And by the way, it's too late. This guy's got to go. And part of it is because many times people have said to me, well, Dale, I'm not sure it's going to matter because Art will just make sure. You know what? I don't want to doubt that. I don't want to believe that. But if there is a question about it, I want to be absolutely sure. I would go with a cardboard cutout clerk.
Yes.
Because at the very least, that cardboard is not going to lie to you. And I don't want to worry about this kind of stuff. I want to be thinking that the work that we put in on things is worthwhile and not just going to be negated by one guy who we've caught on tape lying to us. On tape. No, you didn't. Oh, yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
So now, no, got to go. I don't want to worry about that kind of thing. It's bad enough that there's always an uphill battle. We always win, but I mean, it's a lot of work. So, okay, next person that's running, or their position's up for grabs. This is Connie Roach. Who's Connie Roach? Connie Roach happens to be the current assessor. So, big deal. What's her problem? I mean, why would there be any questions about assessor? Who cares?
Well, listen, I can tell you about that. I think that my biggest apprehension about an assessor should be entirely objective and neutral. This person is not. This person is for every tax that comes down the pike. And, I don't want my assessor to be always looking for a new possibility to tax me more, or if she can't, and she's been a sponsor or at least a cheerleader for every levy that's come down the pike. And I don't want somebody, if they can't get a levy passed, to be looking for every single opportunity to reassess my property at a higher value so they can tax me more.
Now let's, for the sake of argument, and I'm going to argue with Mike because although I'll ask Connie, let me try it. Connie, what do you have to say about that? She's got nothing to say. So,
wrong direction.
I'm trying.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not going to pretend. Okay, so, Mike,
Yes,
everybody's entitled to their own opinion. What's the matter with a citizen having an opinion and going out?
Right. Yes, I know.
Where does it cross the line between having an opinion and having the county government office actually involved in the process?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what I'm saying. There
collection of signatures.
Yes, I know there ought to be objectivity there, and this gal has said, "Hey, listen, I'm collecting signatures for this for the levy drive here or whatever. Drop them off by the assessor's office." For crying out loud, that's
in the courthouse.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Well, actually, that's not true. She could do that, and she did do that. And nobody, there was no controlling legal authority, so she got away with that. No
Just
problem.
us. Look, it reminds me very much of the former treasurer who was using, stop making this up, he admitted it. He was using the county's website, the general website where you can go and get the records, supposedly. And he was using that as his campaign headquarters site. Come and visit the treasurer's. This was John Harrelson. Come and visit the treasurer's part of the website, and you'll see why you should vote for me. You're not supposed to do that, which then brings our next candidate. Her position is up for grabs. This is Eve Arce, A-R-C-E. Yes, I know some people say it wrong. It's Eve Arce, and she is the treasurer. Now, look, I nobody knows much about what Eve Arce does or doesn't do, and I'm not particularly worried about it, but her position will be open. She'll be running for it, and almost certainly she's going to get the position again. Who's going to run against her? Who's going to run against Connie Roach?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably nobody.
Well, I hope somebody.
Very often, and this bothers me, I don't like it as an American, that there's only one candidate for a position. These are important positions. So, to summarize the top row, it's Cheryl Walker. Do we really need to say a lot more? There's Keith Eck. He's going to split his own vote. What are the old boys going to do? Who can they possibly? They don't want to put up someone against Keith Eck, do they? So that just leaves other people out there to run against him. Why would they put up somebody against their own guy that's already in office? He's indicated he wants it. What's the Rotary Club going to come out against Keith Eck? I don't think so. Okay. Then there's the guy that thinks that the right way to measure from one thing to another is go to the end of the hallway, turn around, and come all halfway back, and there's your 100 feet. He couldn't get away with that in kindergarten. And then there's Connie Roach, who has, in the past, remember when we told you that the Republican Central Committee invited people to come and present the point of view, like, let's not promote the property tax. They were invited to come. And as it turned out, the RCC actually said, you know, we agree with you. We're going to go with you on this. She was trying to stop the guys from talking.
Oh, Connie Roach was?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you could remind me, I guess this gal on the end, what's her name again?
Eve Arce.
Eve Arce. And is there anything particular that she has done that is objectionable in some way that, you know, we ought to line somebody up for that spot?
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm not sure that we can actually find even 4 candidates, but honestly, you know, but I haven't seen any evidence that she's been involved in anything. Well, she did say she made,
but she has an open position, and this is just information for people. Yes. If you're looking to run, there's an empty spot.
That's true. Okay, so now we go to the Grants Pass City Council.
Aha! Mark the Hair Gatlin.
Yes, Mark Gatlin. Now,
that's a great picture.
Position is coming open. Mm-hmm. This is one of the reasons why some people believe, Mark is going to run again for county commissioner. Okay, let's analyze what this is about.
A paid position.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Also, he ran against Simon Hare, and it was Mark Gatlin that was favored by Cheryl Walker and Keith Eck. If Cheryl Walker doesn't run, well, of course Keith is going to want Mark because it's more of the same. In fact, worse, I have said several times that the only good thing to me about Simon Hare getting voted in, despite the fact that he does all this stuff, is he's not Mark Gatlin. Now, so here's an interesting thing, I think. So we're going to do a little, you know, prognostication here. I don't know, does that involve your nose? I don't know. Anyway, if Mark runs to fill his own position again, there is some power. There's no money. Well, not that we know of, right? We do try to follow the money, and we did yesterday. $94,000 versus $3,000. That's following the money, buddy. And so I called Eder over at the Courier, and I said, you might want to look into this. Okay, so anyway, you know, trying. Once we run the story, I don't mind telling everybody else, please go look at the story, but we'd like to be first. Anyway, and we are the only ones. Stop it. Okay, so if Mark Gatlin runs for city council, he'll probably get in again because he's got a number of supporters that think that Mark's policies are just terrific. Even if, while you're watching the show, even if you don't think they're terrific, boy, this is an interesting looking screen. Look at the screen. This is kind of cool, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like the bomb site. Okay. So, no matter how much they torture you, Mike, we're not going to be talking about how this bomb site works. No matter how
Okay.
much they torture
All right.
you. Okay.
Yes.
So Mark Gatlin would probably get back in. So does he take the big leap and try to grab the brass ring? Does he do that?
Well,
He would end up with nothing.
Right. He could. Is his city council seat up?
Yes.
In 2016. Oh, yeah. Okay. So he has to run for one or the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what this whole show is about, is people's whose seats are up for grabs. Right.
Yes.
And Mark is up for grabs. His position is. So what does he do? What do his advisors tell him? What does his heart tell him? Or whoever's whispering in his ear, and I don't think it's Jesus, but anyway, because no, I'll tell you why. Because this is the guy, he and his campaign manager, I caught them lying to people about that previous levy, where they were saying, well, I know it's not on the sheet, and you're not supposed to, this is definitely against the law. I know it's not on the sheet, but actually, that 10% that skimmed off the top, that's not true. It's not really skimmed off the top. That's illegal. And I've said this several times, and he never has disputed it, because he did it, because I caught him doing it personally.
Yeah, you know what, though? Do you think he knowingly lied, or he was just ignorant of the facts?
No, I think, after being told several times, he knowingly lied, because it came up at a debate that was up earlier where someone from the audience asked, would you swear on the Bible? On the Holy Bible, that yes, and he was willing to swear. And above him, those two people, they were also willing to swear on the Bible.
Okay, now those two people don't have an out, but I'll tell you that because Dale Matthews says something to some people in this town, that means you can just,
it's on tape.
Everything he says is a lie. Don't listen to anything he says, and that's their out. And there's a number of people that'll give him a pass on that.
But it's on tape.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, that doesn't change anything.
As
there.
I said at that Democratic Party meeting. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark Gatlin's up. So is he going to take the big leap? Is he going to give up the position that he already has? He's already got one bird in the hand, right? Is he going to try to kill two birds with one stone? Leave the birds alone, Mark.
I'd be willing to bet that he will try to get in there, because you know what? Either one of the two, Keith or Cheryl, is an easier target than Simon Hare was in the last election. And I think that's a pretty strong appeal. Mark wants to get paid. There's a lot of people who are interested in the commissioner's position because it pays very well and requires no qualification.
That's correct. Now, I think what they should do is stick with the charter. That's our version of the Constitution, and the charter says you can't be paid more than $30,000. None of these people are going to do these jobs for $30,000. That's what the charter says. If you don't like the charter, then get the charter to change. But they don't want to take it up to a vote of the people. So they got Steve Rich to step in. We told you that story. And nullify that. So it's easy for two new commissioners that have, in my opinion, their heads screwed on right, and that would be for those people to say, hey, no matter what it says that we can do.
Hey, listen, pal.
Yeah.
Stop hassling
the Brady Bunch.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, right. So no matter what it says we can do, we're not going to do that. We're not going to cheat you. You had the ability to say yes to fees or no. Well, that's going to happen Wednesday. They're going to go ahead with some fees. You had the ability. Now you don't. Well, all two new people would need to do is say, you know what? We're saying that you have the ability. Well, you don't have to do that. Yeah, we know. Yeah, but you can ignore the people. We know. We're not going to.
Yes.
End of the story.
And it's funny how they looked for the opportunity to circumvent the constituents. I mean, why would you have somebody look at, hey, Mr. Rich, can you please look into seeing if we can get around that somehow? Because that's a real impediment here. We don't like that. Wow.
Now, when you look at this list of people, I don't mean this guy and I don't mean me, but you look at this list of people and leaving off Eve Arcee, okay, um, they all probably think that's cool. I don't. And the way they've got the power structure now, I'm not making this up, this is true. The way they've got the power structure now, all it takes is 2 votes. They had to have it that way because look what Sandy was asking questions. She wasn't always right about everything, and she's the first to say that's the case. But that's the kind of thing that she was questioning. Well, they've got it set up so it just takes 2 because they had to negate her vote. She voted yes 90% of the time. How can you be Casanoli when you say yes 90% of the time? It doesn't earn you the name Noli. So anyway,
listen, yeah, but come on, you have to admit that is a great. It sounds fantastic when you're trying to run a campaign to take somebody out. Casanoli, oh yeah, but that flogs her with the puts that target on her back. Says, yeah, this is who this person is, and I'm not surprised that they used it.
This was one of my problems with Tony Webb, okay? Because she was telling people when she was gathering signatures to recall Sandy Casanelli.
I'm going to spill some of my drink here.
She was telling people that Sandy was running chaos. They were chaotic meetings. No, they weren't. They weren't chaos. Or that she was not smart. Or that she was against this. And now Tony Webb will say, oh, well, I didn't really say that. Tony, yes, you did. Okay. So trying to escape your past is not going to work. It's not going to work on this show. You may have a bunch of good ideas, and she does have some good ideas for sure. But trying to escape your past, you should say, I'm proud of my past. I'm so glad that I said that. It just isn't true.
Or I've rethought that, and
that's okay.
I think better of it now.
Right, because I reserve the right to be smarter today than yesterday. I have to do that personally. Yeah, but she doesn't do that. She's trying to escape her past. Mm-hmm. That's not going to work. Not when I'm in the room. Okay, next person running for office. You'll like this one.
That's the mayor.
Yes, he's the one that's just gambled everything on the sales tax. Now, if you think the sales tax is a wonderful idea, vote for Mayor Darren Fowler again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is he going to run for commissioner? He could. If he thinks he's over and I think he's over as the mayor, he could run for commissioner. He could.
Yeah.
He's making some money off of this. Okay.
Well, and listen, you know what? I think this is a fantastic opportunity. If you want more of same,
yes,
Cheryl Walker, Keith Heck, Mark Gatlin, what's his name in the glasses there in the center? What's it, the clerk?
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Art Harvey.
Thank you. And, and Darren Fowler, that would be more of same. I think we haven't done this, not in this county in a long, not since I've been here. Had some conservative people that say, hey, listen, there's a better way of doing this than this, when there is money available to take care of what the core principal functions of county government are, number one, public safety, you route that money to the sheriff. That seems like a no-brainer.
It seems that way.
They want to keep it in their coffers for whatever. Listen, there's something about local county government here that wants to have money to play with inside their own thing. I think they consider giving money to the sheriff a throwaway.
Yeah, well, okay, so think about that for a second. Since we know, this is not speculation, we know that they had $1 million come in that they hadn't expected. And so instead of giving that to the sheriff, which they had been hopping about for quite a while, it's got to go to the sheriff, it's got to go to the sheriff. As soon as that vote was over, it's not going to go to the sheriff. They're not going to do that. They could have done that. Okay. They simply weren't interested in doing that thing. And why would they not be? Because, let's think about it for a second. You can give away $1 million as gifts now, not as loans. You could give them away to all kinds of your political allies and your pals and all the rest of this stuff many times, as opposed to giving it one time to the sheriff. And the sheriff
Right.
probably doesn't even like you. Okay. So why would you give him? You would do it because you want safety. But if you want political power, that's not the way to get it.
Yeah.
Plus, it takes ammunition away from you, literally ammunition, 22 and above. It takes ammunition away from you when you are out there flogging the horse again for another levy where you get 10% of the money.
Right.
Why wouldn't they want 10% of the money?
Of course.
It does not pay.
Yeah, and listen, it depends on what your motivation for being there is. And a lot of people that are in politics, the reason why once you get in there and once you get entrenched is you want to enrich the apparatus and make that good for the people that are inside that, and the hell with the people outside.
Most of the people that are on the screen now, with a couple of exceptions, Mike, should be replaced.
Okay, Dale, I'll try my best to try and make that happen.
All right, next.
Yes.
Okay, it's a question mark. He is a question mark. He is Dan DeYoung. He's the president of the city council. He's a big backer, not as much as Roy Lindsay, but a big backer for this current sales tax. So if the sales tax makes you happy, vote for this guy, right? Because he will be more of the same. There is a question about something he said. He mentioned it briefly once to me, mentioned it to somebody else. Some people will like this. He said to me something, it was just in brief passing, about one of the reasons we need to be concerned about the border with California is that there are a lot of people down in the Oakland area, for example, who want to come up here and do damage.
Okay.
Now, at least one person,
and that's based on what?
Well, I'm going to. There's a lot of people who probably believe that. Okay, so they'll go, "Well, good. I absolutely agree with that." Right, as they would with Ron Smith, who's, when you ask him about it, he's got it. Well, he should tell you the truth. Ron Smith, and along that same general category of worldviews, he's sure that that our economy, even down to the local level, is controlled by an international group of Jewish bankers. Now, Ron's going to be running for county government for a position. He's already signed up to run for county commissioner to go up against Cheryl Walker. Okay. And
so hang on.
A second. I'm going to get there.
Who of these people that are on the screen right now are the Jewish overlords? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. Well, probably I won't say any names.
Yes, because I'm over. Yes, that's right.
So what he has said, what the guy there in the middle, Dan DeYoung said, was that he has some fears that people would come from a place like Oakland. Now, is he talking about Irish Americans? Probably not. Right. And it's his feeling. And you may say, well, I think that's quite right. Or you may say, that made me sort of wonder about him.
When it comes to bringing, listen, it's fine. You want to talk about it, whatever. I haven't, this is the only time I've heard this. I heard it from Mark Seligman and I've heard it from you. And that's a third party thing about this guy. I don't think a guy runs around town, with a KKK burning crosses on people's lawns.
No, I'm not
like
saying
that. So let's be careful about that sort of thing.
But we do know some things. Look, that's not going to happen on the campaign trail because we got to think about the future. We got to not think about the people up in the upper left-hand corner here all the time. We need to be thinking about the future. And one of the things about the future is that although you may know all the skeletons, proposed skeletons, partial skeletons, everything about people, if you're going to talk about the future, coming up here pretty soon, it's going to be time to talk about that and not about the past. But you can be guaranteed that we know what people have said to us or not said to us. Of course we know. That's what we do. And eventually it's going to change to something else, but we're going to share it with you while we can, while trying to maintain a positive attitude into the future. Why, let's all band together. Anyway, okay, so that's Dan DeYoung. Dan DeYoung would not be, in my opinion, the worst possible guy, except if you don't like the current sales tax. And if you don't like the current sales tax, he'd be one of the last people you'd want to pick.
Okay.
Next.
Okay, this is Lily Morgan, and the reason why her seat's opening up is because she would have to run for re-election, but also she is now going to run for commissioner, and I believe, isn't she going after Cheryl's spot?
She is indeed. Now, we hope to have her on the show coming up pretty soon. And she's, well, I don't quite know what questions you're going to ask. Well, we'll tell her one of them right now. Is it not true that you have in the past always, usually, never voted for property taxes in the county? Now, some people say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Well,
is that something that you've heard or that she has said? Well, I haven't heard that.
She's going to say it to us. So maybe I'm completely wrong. I believe one of those. I believe the whole city council has.
And when we have her on, we'll play the her opinion about the sales tax that she gave. And I got to tell you, after hearing that, I would vote for her tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But it would be interesting to know whether or not she just feels that about the sales tax, or if she feels that about the property tax, or what her solutions for solving, if you want to say it's a problem, the public safety issue here in the county.
Right. Now, she works with Nate Gowryrand, and that's in juvenile justice. He's her boss. I like Nate. We've had him on the show. And I'm pretty sure that Nate's a guy that would back property tax as well. Look, this isn't all about property tax, but for me, that's maybe the initial point. Do you believe, after 10 times of saying no, that we need a break from this?
Yes.
Please.
Yes. Right. Right. Exactly. It's not that a levy at some point wouldn't be a bad idea. If the economy was going great guns or something, this might be a totally different situation, in years down the road. But I think because of what has happened over the last 10 years, as Dale has just got done saying, it would be nice. I think most people would be like, hey, how about not throwing a levy at me every 6 months?
Well, we brought that to the commissioners because only commissioners can put an advisory question, and it means it's not binding. It's just, what do you think? Only commissioners can do that. I don't like that. If you get 1,000 signatures, why can't we put one on? Can't do it. So with the right two people, they would put a couple of advisory questions on, and one of them would be, it doesn't have the power of law, but it would be, do you agree, yes or no, that we should take a break from proposing property tax to you for the next 4 years? Just take a hiatus, just take a moratorium on it. Doesn't mean we'll never have it. Doesn't mean this has the power of law, which it would not do. They're never going to do that.
Yeah, you know what? And I would add in there, and during those 4 years that you're going to take the hiatus, that you would perhaps pursue other cost-saving measures within government to divert some of that money over to public safety, just to prove to the people who, there's a lot of people who knock the levy down every time that it comes up. And the reason why they're doing it is, number one, they don't trust the people that are spending the money. And the other ones are saying, is this all you have? Yes. I mean, you guys spend money every time you have an opportunity to spend money. You do it, and you tell us that we're hitting the wall. Why don't you try something else? Why don't you try, attriting some of those jobs? Why don't you try cutting back on some of the expenses? We all know that other people spend other people's money with reckless abandon, not the same way they would spend their own money. So
let's find some other alternatives.
Like perhaps travel, for Simon Hare to attend every single convention. Tell me, what have we gotten from Simon Hare's travels over the past 4 years?
Real good point.
What benefit?
And that money could go a long way to increasing the amount of transparency that we have in our government. Now, Mike thinks maybe we don't need any extra money for that. If we did, we'd have it coming out of our ears. Tell Simon, stay home and do your job.
I think that there's a lot of things that we could do to increase transparency that would cost almost nothing.
Yes. One of them might simply be, when you sign a contract, give us a legitimate copy of it and don't leave off the addendum which says all details are in the addendum.
Of course. And then, broadcast the little back room. This is something that can be done so easily. It doesn't cost, literally, it doesn't cost anything. There's free software.
We already did a test of that, didn't we?
Yeah, Mike? No, it's so yeah, but I'm talking about high quality, full HD.
Right. Well, and the other thing that you could do so easily is, instead of having any meetings in the little back room without the Pledge of Allegiance, thanks to Keith Heck at his request, instead of having them there, you just have not the weekly business session, but the business session on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they're all in the Ambassador. Why wouldn't they be?
Sure.
And stop this thing of, well, we're going to meet, but you can't talk. Even when the guys from County Fire are there, you're not letting them talk? And it's about them. Okay, so I think now we'll talk with Lily, and she's lucid, and she's a smart person, and she'd be fun to work with if you had a chance. It can possibly be that everybody that's going to end up on this screen, with the exception here of the two of us, is a property tax proponent. Can we have one person, please, just one, that's not a property tax proponent?
You know what? I can't imagine them. Well, listen, I got to tell you, I remember when Keith and Cheryl were running, I went to the debates that they were part of. They didn't espouse, wanting to jump in there and push a levy.
Cheryl actually said part of her platform was, I really don't think that's the answer. And then the day that she got elected, tell them what happened, Mike.
Well, she flipped.
Immediately.
Yes.
I think it's the only answer. What?
Yes. So, you know what? And I think that's why it's very important to vet these people. As soon as, they're jockeying for position, there's going to be plenty of time to cover this in a way that has never been covered before.
Just look at this show.
And it's going to be, there's going to be, no, listen, I tell you, if we had looked into Cheryl's background before, we would have known that we were getting, the Northwest Dianne Feinstein, and it wouldn't have been, that would have been a no-go for the people in this county. I know that for a fact.
Now, why is it, okay, here we're going to do this hour show with you, and we'll do this kind of thing again. Why doesn't the Daily Courier have these pictures up there with a little analysis from more than just Mike and Dale, the two goons, but other people who are saying, well, here's what I think, or from the candidates themselves, or from the people who are up for, you should vote for me again because I don't know how to measure things. You can do all kinds of things, but they're not doing this. There's no political analysis.
Yeah, but you know what? Listen, I understand what's happening with them, and I think it's a mistake. But they're hedging their bets. They don't want to anger anybody who is going to be in charge and could potentially make their life a living hell if they wanted to.
It's a newspaper.
Yes, Dale. Yes, and thank you for reminding us of how it used to be. It isn't that way anymore. Listen, we're living in a different world. The Justice Department, the FBI used to enforce the law.
Yeah.
Now they enforce
the
political.
Right. That's right.
So
and even Dan Mancuso, he now denies it, but it's true. Even he told me the reason he wasn't going to cover one of these stories, one of the kinds of stories that we do, is because his advertisers wouldn't like it. That's not true. Yes, it's true. So come after me. Jage, tell everybody I'm a liar. That's what you said. That's a newspaper editor we can't cover that story because my advertisers might not like it.
Well, Dale, we got a couple of more people here
Let's
to.
go for them. Ken Hannum. Ken Hannum was the
Who is that
only
guy?
other city councilor that said maybe he didn't like the idea of a sales tax. He's the
Oh,
only
he
other
was the
one.
kind of half-hearted guy, wasn't
He was a half-hearted
Yeah.
guy. That's right.
Yeah.
So put him side by side with Lily is quite right.
Well, I'll tell you what though, if you compare the two of them, Lily was firm and she was pretty stern about her opinion, and there wasn't any waffling. That guy there was kind of milk toast.
He was kind of milk
Was,
toast.
well, I'm kind of,
Kind of there, kind of not. We know candidates that are coming up for county commissioner who've been kind of there and kind of not. We'll tell you about it without trying to insult our friends, but they're kind of like, well, maybe I could. Yeah, hey, how about taking a stand? Well, I don't really think I want to take a stand. What kind of politics is this? Politics as usual.
Yeah.
And you know who I'm talking about. Okay, this next one is the best picture I could find of this guy. It's unbelievable. He's the mayor of Cave Junction, Carl Jacobson.
Oh, okay.
I could only find 2 pictures of this guy. One of them's wearing a big cowboy hat and stuff kicker cowboy boots. And it's not because they kick stuff, and you know what I mean by stuff. It's not because they kick stuff with them. It's the kind with the super pointy ends that are also metal encased, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because they're kicking the stuff out of you, not because they're kicking stuff.
Well, and you know what? Perhaps he's going to be at the meeting in Cave Junction next Monday night.
Oh yeah,
and you can get at least a video freeze frame of the guy,
yes, that would be
and
nice.
We can use that next time as a little bit better picture.
Well, his claim to fame is that there was a couple that came in. You might not like marijuana business, but it is a legal business in the state of Oregon, and they came in and they were asking some questions, and he basically, you've probably seen the video, he accused them of threatening the security of Cave Junction, of threatening him personally, of doing illegal things. They were like, what the heck are you talking about? This guy, nothing wrong with people who wear cowboy hats. My dad did. Nothing wrong with people who wear cowboy boots. My dad did when he wasn't working for NASA. Okay, so nothing wrong with all that, except Cave Junction is such an interesting place. It seems to be made up half of people who were kind of former hippies. I know it's a generalization. And half of people who are stuff kickers. What an interesting. I love Cave Junction. I really do. It's so entertaining. But really, they seem to fall into one category or another. Or maybe vagrants is the third category, but what an interesting guy. And I've said to some of the people there who are a little bit more counterculture, you need to get one of your people up there to run for office. Now, maybe you won't win, but you sure will scare the heck out of the stuff kickers, won't you?
Mm-hmm.
Next person.
Yes, I recognize this person from Facebook.
Yes.
Yes.
I couldn't find any picture at all of Margaret Miller. No pictures of Margaret Miller.
Who is she?
She's a counselor whose position, a counselor in Cave Junction, whose position, he's the mayor. She's one of the 2 counselors whose positions are open.
Wow.
Or coming up.
I'm surprised. So did you get this silhouette here from their website, or
no? There's no picture of her on their website.
Okay, well, that's a bummer.
I guess she must prefer it that way because there's only one bad picture of Jacobson, the mayor, and there's this picture of her, and his head is about the size of my thumb or something. On that, it was an awful picture. This is not much better, but no, there's no picture of her. She typically, while John Gardner, bring his picture up, that's the last one. While John Gardner generally is the kind of person, now, you need to kind of do this sometimes, he's generally in favor of most left-wing, there's a place for them in our society, environmentally concerned people, and will champion those forever. She's really pretty much on the other side. So they have somewhat balanced each other out. Daniel Delegowski is well, he's not really the son-in-law officially, but kind of his paramour is Dave Toller's daughter. So John Delegowski and this guy, John Gardner, they form one end of the spectrum. And this lady, Margaret Miller, and one other counselor, but especially Jacobson, they form the other wing altogether. Well, okay, there's place for all of those things. It's a very interesting place. So, Mike, tell me here at the end of our show, if you had to place a Norden bomb site. No, I'm not going to say that. If you had to pick the person that needs to be replaced first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, who would they be?
Okay, Cheryl,
yep.
Keith.
Yep.
Why can't Art Harvey?
Yes.
And boy, and if you're gonna go right into the city council, Mark Gatlin,
yes.
The mayor. I mean,
yes.
you already have them pretty well sequenced here.
I do.
Now I don't know this gal in the upper right, and it may be unfair, but Connie Roach is. Yeah, I don't know her, and so I don't. It's
hardly anybody does.
I don't have anything bad to say about her.
No, I don't either.
Connie Roach. I'd like to see somebody else get in there. I don't want anybody who's pushing a pro-tax agenda all the time. You shouldn't be pushing an agenda. You should be there to do your job. You're an assessor. It's an apolitical position, I would hope.
Do not say bring your petitions down to the courthouse,
yes, of course,
and bring them to the assessor's office and turn them into me.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
that's
just
too
ridiculous.
Close. Yeah. So, of these people whose positions are open, who would you say is the one that potentially shows the most promise for going on and continuing in their current position or even another?
In their current position,
or even
I don't know Cave Junction politics.
Right.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I think a lot of the mayor's future hinges on the sales tax. So we don't really know about that. And then other advocates of the sales tax on the city council may well be. They're spending political capital here. There's no question about that. Yeah. And listen, again, I know that there's a core of politically minded people that don't like Art Harvey. But I mean, look at the guy. He looks like an honorable dude.
He does.
I think a lot of people who are open up their voters pamphlet and are looking to vote for somebody. They look at the guy. He's a nice looking guy. He's wearing a tie. He speaks well. I think that's going to be, hopefully there's more people aware of why they should get rid of the guy.
I don't think there are.
And that's a task for people who, for somebody who decides to run against him. And then for people in the community, activists within the community who want to say he is part of replacing him as part of taking the county in a new direction.
Oh, it absolutely is, because we need to be able to trust that. Even if it turns out where it's only like half true or only half the things are true. No, I need to count on the guy. He's going to be counting his own votes. I need to be able to count on the guy that's counting the votes. I don't want to believe that it's being jiggered. I don't like that. No. That's just not right. So there's, a general rule of thumb based on the pictures we're seeing here is don't vote for anyone who's in black and white. Let's see what else.
No, I wouldn't say that. Listen, I got to tell you, I was moved by Lily Morgan's opinions about the sales tax. And so I'm going to give her, she's going to have to shoot herself down to me.
Yes. And don't vote for anyone with glasses.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Sure. Yeah, people in glasses, that's why I have these stealth ones on here,
Oh,
so
okay.
it
Well,
doesn't
all
look
right.
like it.
Hold on a second. Although I don't need these,
Oh, yeah, he doesn't need them at all.
I
Yes.
use them for reading, but only
Yes.
the tiniest of objects, like writing on the back of a frog or something like that. Okay, so
Sure.
leave the
Sure.
French people out of this. I know. So my point is
Yeah.
that the final point about all this is look at the screen. This could be done everywhere. This could be done more places. You enjoy hearing a little bit about politics. Where else are you going to get this? There's no analysis. We're the only ones that are doing it. And even if you think that we're full of it, we probably are. Even if you think we are, look what you're getting.
Well, and I gotta
No,
say,
the other way.
I mean, how often, when you're, living in some town, you open up the voters pamphlet, and half of the people, because of the fact that you're not following what's going on locally, you're unaware. You're going, well, that name sounds nice. Look at that person. Oh, what a great picture that
He's
is.
wearing
Or
glasses and he looks
I,
like a clerk.
I
And
read the first sentence, and he says he's for the children. So there you go.
right. Aren't they all for the children? That's all they're for. That's all they've ever been for. Mike, what's the matter with us for even analyzing all this?
Mm.
So can you switch back to the first picture?
To the first picture.
Uh-huh.
You mean just
the bomb
oh,
site?
just the site? Sure.
Yeah.
There
So still don't see it. Oh, there it is. So this was our show about targeting politics, both in
Oh man,
Grass
you can get into danger saying
Josephine
that.
County, and Schweinfurt. Yes, this is our show. That is
Yes.
Schweinfurt below. I don't know what that is. Don't worry about it. So we will do this from time to time, and we'll try to let you know the best that we can. We will at some point be talking about people who are candidates for these positions that are not already in, and potential candidates for these positions. And we'll be talking about what we know or don't know about them or questions that we have about them. That's what we do. And then you can say, I like that, I don't like it, or don't vote for anyone with glasses. Thank you, everybody.